सदैकप्रियदर्शनम् अज्ञाननाशकं देवं सद्गुरुं मुरलीधरम्
सर्वः शर्वः शिवः sthANurbhUtAdirnidhiravyayah sambhavo bhavano bhartA Prabhavah Prabhurishwarah सर्वस्मै नमः।
Bhagavan is called Sarva because he is everything. Asatascha sataschaiva sarvasya prabhavapyayat sarvasya sarvada jnanat sarvamenam prachakshate. This visible universe can be called Sat because we can perceive it. The subtle universe can be called Asat because we cannot perceive it. Bhagavan is the cause for both this visible universe, which is the Sthula Prapancha, and the subtle universe, which is the Sukshma Prapancha. So he is called Sarva. Bhagavan is also called Sarva because though he is distinctly different from all the Achetanas, the insentient beings, the Jivas, the bound souls, the Muktas, who are the liberated souls, and the Nityas, the ever liberated souls, the ever free souls, and is also superior to all of them, still he does not neglect them. Instead, he actually cares for them and he sustains them. Does Bhagavan care for all of us because he can benefit from us in some way? No way, is it not? There is nothing that we can do for him. He is completely independent. He is not dependent on anybody or anything at all. Like our Guru Maharaj sings in this most beautiful Madhura Geetam, Minnal Pol Andru En Vazhvil. He says, Ennal unakku avadu ondrum illai. He says, there is nothing that I can do for you and you do not benefit in any way from me, Krishna. So Bhagavan cares for us not because he needs something from us or he is dependent on us, but because he knows everything and everybody to be his body as his Sharira. And that is why Bhagavan is called Sarva. Shariram iva Atma anusandhate ata Sarva.
Sharvaya Namaha.
Sri Adi Shankara Bhagavad Padal says, Shrunati samhara samaye samharati samharayati sakalaha prajaha iti Sharvaha. Bhagavan is called Sharvaha because at the time of Pralaya or dissolution of this universe, he destroys or dissolves this entire universe. So he is called Sharvaha. Bhagavan is also called Sharvaha because, as Sri Parashara Bhattar says, Swasharira Bhutanam Ashubhamapi Shrunati iti Sharvaha. Bhagavan destroys all the inauspiciousness in the objects that he knows as his body. In Sri Bhagavatam, Sri Shukacharya says, Bhuyo Namaha Sad Vrijinat Chide. Alvar calls Bhagavan as Amalan, Vimalan, Nimalan and Ninmalan, which means he says Bhagavan is free of all blemishes and all inauspiciousness. So he is Amalan. Not just that, he also removes all the blemishes and inauspiciousness in those who seek refuge in them. So he is Vimalan. And not just that, he does that without our asking for it, and that too for his own sake and not just for our sake. So Bhagavan is called Sharvaha. Our Guru Maharaj also sings in the Madhura Geetam, Abhayam Alittavan Ingu Vandan, Innal Kalai Bhavan Ingu Vandan, Irelu Bhuvaneshal Ingu Vandan.
Shivaya Namaha.
Bhagavan is called Shiva because he is pure and auspicious. Sri Adi Shankara Bhagavad Padal says, Nistraygunyataya Shuddhatvat Shivaha. Bhagavan is free from all the three gunas, so he is pure and auspicious. He is not tainted by any gunas, so he is called Shivaha. Bhagavan is indeed the abode of all auspiciousness. That's why our Guru Maharaj very beautifully sings in one Madhura Geetam, Mangala Vigraha Madhusudana Muralidhara Gopala Gopala Muralidhara Gopala. He says Mangala Vigraha Madhusudana. Bhagavan is the abode of all auspiciousness. So he is called Shiva. Bhagavan is called Shiva because he not only is the abode of all auspiciousness, he is not only auspicious himself, but he bestows all auspiciousness on the objects that he knows as his body. He bestows all auspiciousness on his very beloved devotees. So he is called Shiva. Our Guru Maharaj sings in yet another Madhura Geetam, Ketkamale Palananmaigalai Arul Purindaye Kanna. He bestows all auspiciousness on his devotees unasked. So he is called Shiva.
sthANave Namaha.
Bhagavan is called sthANuhu because he is constant and he is firm. Why do we call Bhagavan as firm? What is he firm in? Bhagavan is very firm in protecting his devotees and in bestowing all auspiciousness on his devotees. That's why Bhagavan is called sthANuhu. Bhagavan not only grants everything to his devotees, but he also feels that he has not done enough. Like our Guru Maharaj sings in one of the Madhura Geetam, Kallamilla ulla tudai nalla neengal oru murai ullam urugi அழைத்தால் போதும் மறுமுறை கேட்க அவசியமில்லாமல் போதும் 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 என்று செய்திடுவானே பாடு 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 என்று பாடாய்படுத்துவான் எங்கள் கண்ணன். Our Guru Maharaj says, even if we chant Bhagavan Nama just once, Bhagavan would shower his grace so much that we would not have the need to ask for anything again, anymore, anytime, ever. That is how Bhagavan bestows everything on his devotees. So he is called sthANuhu.
Bhootaadaye Namaha.
Bhagavan is called Bhootaadi because he is the first cause for all the bhutas or created beings. So he is called Bhootaadi. Bhagavan is also called Bhootaadi because apicha sprihaniya tamatvat bhutaihi upadiyate iti Bhootaadihi. He is eagerly sought after by all because he is very desirable. So Bhagavan is called Bhootaadi. In Ramayana, Sri Valmiki Maharishi says, Ramo Ramo Rama iti prajanam abhavan kathaha Ramabhutam Jagadabhut Rame Rajyam Prashasati. The residents of the entire city of Ayodhya always talked about Rama, they discussed about Rama and they always sought him. Because everyone resorts to Bhagavan like this, Bhagavan is called Bhootaadi.
Nidhiravyaya Namaha.
Nidhi means resting place. Avyaya means unchanging. Bhagavan is the unchanging resting place for all the jivas at the time of pralaya or dissolution. So Bhagavan is called Nidhiravyaya. Nidhi also means treasure. Bhagavan is the inexhaustible eternal treasure. Like Andal says, Ningada Selvam. So Bhagavan is called Nidhiravyaya. Sri Parashara Bhattar says, Apat Dhanavat Nidheyatvat. Devotees secure Bhagavan like a man would securely hide and store wealth for the times of distress. In Stotra Ratna, Sri Alavandar says, Dhanam Madiyam Tava Pada Pankajam. He says, Krishna, the treasure, the wealth for me is your lotus feet and nothing else. Our Guru Maharaj also sings in a beautiful Madhura Geetam, Niye en dhanam janam kalvi arivu. He says, you are my dhanam. You alone are my treasure, my wealth, Krishna.
Sambhavaya namaha.
Bhagavan is called Sambhavaha because he manifests himself out of his own free will. We are born because of our karma. But Bhagavan's avatara, his manifestation, is not karmanusara but svechaya, his own free will. Bhagavan himself says in Bhagavad Gita, Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata apyutthanam adharmasya tad atmanam srijamyaham paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. Bhagavan says, whenever there is a decline in dharma, I manifest myself in order to establish dharma and protect my devotees. So he is called Sambhavaha. Though we famously refer to Bhagavan's avatars as Dashavatara, Bhagavan's manifestations are not limited to 10. Srimad Bhagavatam says, Avatarahi asankheya. Bhagavan's manifestations, his avatars, are infinite. Brahmaji says in Srimad Bhagavatam, Tvam bhava yoga paribhavita hrit saroja asek shrutekshita patho nanunatha pumsam yad yadhiyata urgaya vibhavayanti tattad bapuhu pranayase sadanugrahaya. Brahmaji says, Krishna, you take any form that the devotees wish to see you as. So, for every devotee, Bhagavan would not mind taking an avatara. That's why Bhagavan's avatars are infinite and that's why Bhagavan is called Sambhavaha. Our Guru Maharaj also sings in a very beautiful Madhura Geetam, Mannilum Venilum Parandulla Podilum Mannile Karunayal Avadaritai. Guru Maharaj says, Krishna, though you are all pervading, out of compassion and the love that you have for your devotees, you manifest yourself and do lot of divine avatars. So Bhagavan is called Sambhavaha.
Bhavanaya namaha.
Bhagavan is called Bhavanaha because he is the one who grants the fruits for all our actions. Sarvesham bhoktrinam phalani bhavayati iti bhavanaha. Bhagavan is the one who creates the fruits for these actions. Actions or karma by themselves cannot give any phala, any fruit. Why? Because actions are inert, they are jadam, and anything that is inert cannot give fruit for anyone else, is it not? So it is only Bhagavan who grants these fruits. And the beauty is, Bhagavan distributes the phala of the actions of all the jivas perfectly. There is no confusion at all. Our scriptures say there are 84 lakh species, but each one of them enjoys the fruits of their action and their action alone. That is the beauty. And because Bhagavan distributes the fruits of everybody, he is the Phaladayaka, he is called Bhavanaha. Our Guru Maharaj also sings in a beautiful Madhura Geetam, Jaya Jaya Mohana Muralidhara Jaya Jaya Mokshadi Phaladayaka. Our Guru Maharaj calls Bhagavan as Phaladayaka. He is the one who grants all the fruits, be it of spiritual sadhanas or the worldly actions. So Bhagavan is called Bhavanaha.
Bhartre namaha.
The one who bears the burden is called a bhartA. Bhagavan is called bhartA because he is the one who bears or sustains this entire universe, being its substratum. If we want to draw a painting, we need a canvas that has to serve as a substratum on which we can draw, is it not? It is Bhagavan who is that substratum for this universe, so he is called bhartA. Sri Parashara Bhattar says, Kinchatan atmadanena tat shilaha pushnati iti bhartayam. Bhagavan sustains us or nourishes us by giving himself to us. Srimad Bhagavatam says, Smarataha padakamalam atmanam api yachati. Bhagavan would grant himself to those devotees who merely think of his lotus feet. That is his Sheela, that is his character, and that is why he is called bhartA. Our Guru Maharaj also beautifully sings in a Sri Madhura Geetam, Namam sonna matirathil talnaye nalgidu Devamadu Devam Yel Devam Kannanai pol Devam Kandiro. Our Guru Maharaj says, if we merely chant the divine names of Bhagavan, he would give himself to us. That is the beauty of Bhagavan, and that's why Bhagavan is called bhartA.
Prabhavaya Namaha.
Bhagavan is called Prabhavaha because he is the origin of all the Mahabhutas, the 5 elements. Akasha, which is space, Vayu, which is air, Agni, which is fire, Apaha, which is water, and Prithvi, which is earth. Since Bhagavan is the origin of these Pancha Mahabhutas, he is called Prabhavaha. Bhagavan is also called Prabhavaha because, as Sri Adi Shankara Bhagavad Gita says, Prakrishto bhavo janmasyeti va. Bhagavan is called Prabhavaha because his descent is divine. In Srimad Bhagavatam, Brahmaji says, Asyapi deva vapusho madanugrahasya svechamayasya natu bhutamayasya kopi. He says, Krishna, your divine form, when you manifest yourself during the avatara, it is not prakrita, it is not made of these panchabhutas, but it is divine, it is divya. And so Bhagavan is called Prabhavaha. Bhagavan himself says in Sri Bhagavad Gita, Janma karma cha me divyam evam yo veti tattvataha tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti mameti sorjuna. He says, O Arjuna, my descent and my leelas, my avataras and my leelas, they are all divine. As a matter of fact, even those of them who know that my avatars are divine, they do not return to this world. In Sri Madhura Geetam, while describing the divine couple, our Guru Maharaj says everything about them is divyam. Divya bharanangaludan divya malai anindu divya dampatigal ஆடும் ஊஞ்சல் லாலி.
Prabhave Namaha.
Bhagavan is called Prabhu because he does everything with extraordinary skill. Sri Adi Shankara Bhagavad Gita says, Sarvasu kriyasu samarthya atishayat Prabhu. Anything that Bhagavan does, he does it effortlessly. Srimad Bhagavatam says, Krishnam aklishta karinam, which means there is absolutely no effort in anything that Bhagavan does. In a beautiful Sri Madhura Geetam, which describes the Govardhana Uddharana Leela of Krishna, our Guru Maharaj says how effortless it is for Bhagavan to lift the Govardhana mountain. When he lifts it, one can hardly believe it is a mountain that he is lifting. He says, Adenna Parama Illa Ilaya Ille Mayil Pilidana. It is so effortless that it looks as if Krishna is lifting a mere fruit or just a leaf or a little feather and nothing else. That is how effortless Bhagavan's actions are, and so he is called Prabhu. Sri Parashara Bhattar says Bhagavan is also called Prabhu because Evam Amanda Paratantra Manushyadi Samyena Avataranapi Prabhu. Though he manifests himself in the form of a human being, he is not Paratantra like us, but he is Swatantra. How do we know that? In Ramavatara, Bhagavan played the role of a human being perfectly, but he gave moksha to Jatayu. In Krishnavatara, Bhagavan gave moksha to Shishupala, who constantly abused him. Bhagavan gives moksha to whoever he wants, whenever he wants, even during Avatara Kala as a human being. That shows he is a Prabhu.
Eshwaraya Namaha.
Bhagavan is called Eshwara because, as Sri Adi Shankara Bhagavad Gita says, Nirupadikam Aishwaryam Asyeti Eshwara. Everybody's Aishwarya or lordship is limited by space, time or people. The lordship or the Aishwarya of some are limited by people. For example, Devendra is the lord of the Devas, but he is not the lord of Asuras. So, his Aishwarya is limited by people. Similarly, the Aishwarya or the lordship of some are limited by space. For example, a king of a country or a prime minister of a country is the leader only of that country and not of the neighboring country. Is it not? His powers are limited by space. Similarly, the lordship of some are limited by time. For example, Hiranyakashipu was the lord of all the three worlds, of everybody, but only for one Manvantara. But Bhagavan's Aishwarya or lordship is not limited by space, time or people. So he is called Eshwara. That's why Sri Alavandar says in Stotra Ratna, Swabhavika Anavadhika Atishaya Ishitritvam. This Aishwarya of Bhagavan is Swabhava. It is his nature. It is not something that is possessed or gained, but it is something that is inherent in him. And this is not just the case when Bhagavan is in Vaikuntha, but it is so even when Bhagavan descends in this world, when he manifests in this world as various avatars. So he is called Eshwara. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Radhe Radhe.